Hello and welcome to Bahrain Now, your source of local initiatives, happenings, talents, and trends. I'm your host, Khalid Hijris, here to walk you through our exciting lineup of segments and personalities from around Bahrain. So don't go away, we'll be right back. In its fifth edition, Bahrain's premier platform that empowers young entrepreneurs and innovators has brought together over 200 developers, designers, and business minds. Held at the American University of Bahrain, it showcased creativity, collaboration, and cutting-edge ideas. The initiative is part of the integrated efforts to foster innovation and economic growth supported by the Labor Fund, Temkeen, and key ecosystem partners. With mentorship from industry leaders and support from startup incubation, Startup Bahrain Weekend is helping shape the kingdom's future economy. We are pleased to be joined here at the studio by project lead Maram Murad and the facilitator Abdallah El Reyes from Startup Bahrain. Welcome. How are you both doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you both here today. This is a very exciting initiative, and I can't wait for us to get into this discussion. Now, starting off with you, Maram, what can you tell us about the concept and the main objectives behind organizing Startup Bahrain Weekend in its fifth edition?
Of course. So for everyone who doesn't know, Startup Bahrain is a national ecosystem for startups in the kingdom. Startup Bahrain Weekend is one of our largest entrepreneurship events that we host at Startup Bahrain. And basically it's a 54-hour student-focused event that brings together students, founders, developers, designers, marketeers. We bring them to one place and we basically condense the entire entrepreneurial journey and have them with Abdallah Reyes as our facilitator. We facilitate that entire journey through just one weekend. So whether it's ideation, whether it's forming your team, finding the right people that align with your vision and are able to build it with you, having to pivot multiple times during just one weekend with the help of so many different mentors and industry leaders in the ecosystem, building your actual minimum viable product and then pitching in front of judges. So the main objective of this is to make sure that we push founders to start, because that's often the most difficult part of entrepreneurship, is just starting. And we try to simplify it and break it down for participants to make sure that they know that it is easy to start and then they can kickstart their entrepreneurship journey through Startup Weekend, because that's genuinely the perfect start on how to get into the ecosystem.
Wonderful. And this year's event brought together over 200 participants. What does this turnout say about the growth of Bahrain's entrepreneurial ecosystem?
I mean, the turnout this year was amazing. It was probably it is one of our largest events that we've hosted so far. But it's the kind of growth that's overwhelming in a very good way. In the previous editions, it was super fun to go around the venue and see a lot of familiar faces. But this time around, it was super fun to go around the venue and see a lot of unfamiliar faces. And that just speaks to how many people are starting to enter the ecosystem and are starting to want to seriously pursue entrepreneurship.
Wonderful. Now moving on to you, Abdallah, can you tell us a bit more about the selection process for the competition winners and what stood out about the top teams?
Well, we do have a very rigorous selection process. We don't just look at ideas if they're new or they just sound fun. We actually go through some of the pillars that we consider very important at the startup level. For example, what kind of design do you have? Is your idea new? Does it have impact? Most importantly, is it viable, feasible? Does it make money? At the end of the day, the startup is a company, it's not a charity case. So you need to be able to monetize whatever it is that you're bringing to the table. And to make sure that these criteria are held to a high standard, our judging panel usually consists of industry leaders, experts, founders themselves, some of the best in our ecosystem.
Wonderful. How is Startup Bahrain specifically helping young Bahrainis turn their ideas into viable businesses?
Of course, so Startup Bahrain all year round has a platform, has resources, has perks, has a mentorship network that it offers to all the founders in the ecosystem. And then with our much larger initiatives like Startup Bahrain Weekend, as I previously mentioned, we condense this entire entrepreneurial journey throughout just 54 hours. So we give them not only these resources, not only these mentors that they get to interact with, but we also give them a community. So it just helps them to kickstart this entrepreneurship journey and helps them to further pursue a non-traditional career path.
Wonderful. And on the note of like pursuing like a career path and everything, Abdullah, how does the support from the government and other partners translate into real opportunities for aspiring entrepreneurs?
Well, it's very obvious and easy to say that without our partners, both private and public sector, this event couldn't happen. And the kind of support that they provide allows us to hold this event at a much higher level than if we had done it ourselves. From the public sector, we open up many opportunities for our young entrepreneurs to continue beyond the startup weekend. We hope the startup weekend is just the launching pad for them to go into much bigger, better programs where they can grow, like you have the Mashru'i program from Tamkeen as well as the Riyada program. There's other programs as well, and the private sector partners alone have done so much because many of them have been participants in the ecosystem, and even when they grow, they come back to the ecosystem. So you have, they offer some perks and they kind of give back. They do their civil duty, they give back to the young entrepreneurs and they share their knowledge.
Sounds like a great time to be a Bahraini entrepreneur. And now could you tell us a bit about the partnership with the American University of Bahrain and how their innovation lab will support the winners?
Oh yeah, so the American University of Bahrain provided us with the venue to hold the, I believe, largest startup weekend we've ever had in our 5th iteration. So big thanks to them for that, as well as the fact that they're hosting the the InvestCorp Innovation Lab allows us to partner with them and kind of bridge the gap between academia and entrepreneurship, and to take these students, put them in a program like the InvestCorp incubation program, which is a 6-month incubation program that allows students to take their ideas and build them into MVPs and viable prototypes after the program.
Wonderful. And Maran, back to you. The Minister of Finance and National Economy and the chairman of Mumtalakat Holding Company mentioned that startups could generate over 14% of jobs globally in the next 5 years. Could you tell us a bit about how something like Startup Bahrain's Weekends can lead to the creation of more job opportunities within the country?
Definitely. So Startup Bahrain as a platform, and specifically Startup Bahrain Weekend as an initiative, helps to align with Bahrain's vision of having a more diverse and innovation-driven economy. Startups not only contribute to new jobs being created, but also help to catalyze new industries, help to encourage digital transformation, help to build an appetite for investment, attract venture capital. And this all goes back to Bahrain's vision of having an economy where youth-led enterprises play a central role in job creation and industry.
Wonderfully said, and that leads me into my next question, which is for you, Abdullah. Bahrain is ranked among the top startup ecosystems in the MENA region. What specific policies or government initiatives do you believe led to this ranking?
Well, we first have to recognize that Bahrain being at the top of these rankings is no accident. It is part of a very deliberate, strategic direction that starts all the way at the top. So for that, we're seeing kind of the fruits of that labor. Bahrain is always the pioneer, at least in the GCC region, we can say, the first when it comes to implementing these sort of policies. Policies like the Cloud First initiative. You have policies like the CBB sandbox that allows fintechs to kind of test out their ideas in the Bahraini market. I don't think there are any similar ones, or at least to the effectiveness of the CBB sandbox. And my personal favorite, of course, is the Sijilli program. It lowers the barrier of entry for many young entrepreneurs to actually go forth and start their businesses, which before you would have to have large capital for you to start your business. It was a very large deterrent. However, even during the weekend, we can have some of our participants get into the market as soon as the weekend ends because of something like the Sijilli program.
Wonderful. And this year, Maram, this year introduced a new student competition in collaboration with the University of Bahrain. What are the goals behind this initiative, and how is it going to be implemented?
Yeah, so one of the key moments of this edition of the Startup Bahrain Weekend was when His Excellency Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, Minister of Finance and National Economy, alongside with His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Mubarak Jum'a, the Minister of Education, announced that there would be an edition of Startup Bahrain Weekend in collaboration with the University of Bahrain. Of course, they also mentioned that this would be part of curriculum or college requirements for graduation at the College of Business at the University of Bahrain. And this goes to show the importance of universities and the importance of embedding this entrepreneurship spirit very early on within education for students. This helps to have students very early on be able to understand that the traditional career path is not the only option that you have. You have the means of being able to venture out and build something of your own, and you're very capable of doing that. And Startup Bahrain Weekend is exactly, that's exactly what it does.
Now, Abdullah, I'd like to speak a bit more about the contributions from the experts and the mentors. How important is mentorship in helping startups succeed, especially within the early stages? Because we've had a few discussions now about, like, you know, the early stages and getting things running. So what role does mentorship play in that?
Well, extremely vital, if you want it in one word. Mentorship, especially for a lot of the founders that participate in Startup Bahrain Weekend, a lot of them are very, very talented. However, for them, this is their first foray into the entrepreneurship world. And having mentorship allows them to avoid some of the common pitfalls that many new entrepreneurs go through. So for us, we ensured that in Startup Bahrain Weekend, not only did we have mentors, we had mentors of all sorts of backgrounds. We had mentors for product, for pitching, for tech, everything, so that we ensure that our students and our participants get a more holistic mentoring experience. I like to say that what better way there is to learn than to learn from the man in the arena, you know. So a lot of them are playing in the same arena. It's nice to know that someone's played the game that you're trying to play as well, and they can give you something that you can't find in any book or any video, which is insight and experience. And I hope that translated during this weekend to a lot of our participants.
Very well said. And I think I've noticed, like, there's been a lot of discussion about diversity and creating new job opportunities and more innovative job opportunities. And it's great to see that that's reflected even in the selection of the mentors. And now, Maram, initiatives like DOO and 9 Dots have also recognized standout teams. How do these community-based awards foster deeper engagement within this ecosystem?
Of course. So I'd like to first thank all our strategic partners. Our key strategic partner, of course, Tim Keen, the Labor Fund. We would have not been able to reach this success without them by our side, along with all of our other strategic partners, the American University of Bahrain, Brink, Audible, Spring Studios, Reboot Coding Institute, and General Assembly. When it comes to Do and 9 Dots, they were our event partners. When it comes to Do specifically, they're a startup themselves that are, I believe, less than 2 years old. So it's so nice to see that people that have, or founders that are part of the ecosystem and have achieved remarkable milestones are coming back and contributing back to the ecosystem that they were part of. So we have a lot of different entities and enablers, such as 9 Dots as well, that are just fueling the growth of the ecosystem. So it's so important to see that, and we love to witness it during this edition.
Now, you sort of touched on this, but Abdullah, I'd like you to elaborate a bit. Now, there are multiple organizations, obviously, who have been involved with this massive undertaking, right? How does their contributions ensure the success and high quality of such initiatives?
Well, each of our partners bring some sort of strength of their own to the event. So for us, kind of being the place where all of these partners kind of cross meet, it just comes to show that in Bahrain, our collaborative culture is something that we've been fostering, and that we don't work in silos, we work together. And when we work together at a grassroots movement, we can see that the students and the participants are going to get the most out of it. Every single partner brings something to the table. We want to make sure that when they come together under Startup Bahrain Weekend, that all of our participants are getting a little bit of something, either it's public or private sector partners.
Brilliant. And now what can you tell us about the next steps for the winning teams? Like, will there be like follow-up support or another incubation to help them scale their ideas?
Well, that's a no-brainer, of course, and it's not just for our winners; it's even our participants. For a person to just be a part of the weekend, you're part of the Startup Bahrain community, and our job as Startup Bahrain is to make sure that not only the winners get follow-up mentorship, and of course they've earned it, but even the people who have participated. Just because a team won does not mean that the other teams were not worthy of winning. It's just this year, specifically this year, we've seen the caliber of startups go up, and we've been noticing that every year, that the caliber and the ideas and the execution, everything has taken the next level. It was actually very difficult to see the judges actually select who's going to win. So for us, we're going to make sure that they get follow-up mentorship. We're always available. We have a large network of founders, mentors, as well as just the community itself starting to help each other. So we're going to make sure of that.
If I can also add to that, we always like to say that Startup Bahrain Weekend is not a competition. It's your start into the entrepreneurship ecosystem. So no one walks out of weekend without being a winner. They still get a piece of the pie, and we make sure that we continue to see their growth post the event.
You know, I have to say, that is a very promising and very refreshing thing to hear, because obviously when you think about entrepreneurship and you think about marketplaces, you think, of course, competition and all of that. It is great to see that clearly there is a true passion to support entrepreneurs at any level, and regardless of how their ideas break into the market, and to see that continued support and that it's not conditional as well is just a very heartwarming and very promising thing to hear. And now just to conclude, Maram, looking ahead, how do you see Startup Bahrain Weekend evolving over the next few years in order to keep pace with technological and economic changes?
I mean, definitely it's gonna be up from here. I think Abdullah can also agree with me. He's been a mentor in previous editions, and year on year, we've seen just an improved quality of ideas, improved execution of these ideas. So just the baseline continues to just continue climbing. So there's no way for Startup Bahrain Weekend, I'd say winners, because all of the people that end up leaving weekend are winners. There is no way for that baseline to drop anytime soon. And that will continue to keep up with the latest industries that we're starting to see come out, with the latest technological trends. So it's just, it's going to be up from here.
Yeah, if I can add something to that as well. We've already seen what the startup ecosystem in Bahrain is like, because we've seen multiple companies from Bahrain come out and go beyond our borders, one of them being Do. You've got companies like, of course, Calo, you've got Unipal. All of these companies show that everyone's going to start at the same level. Like, all of these people started at the same level as our participants. So there's no limit to the heights that they can reach, but they've all started in, weekend. So we're hoping that our participants themselves do like, I mean, not do, but do like the other entrepreneurs that are considered kind of role models in the ecosystem. So I guess that would be my final message to that.
Wonderful. I'd like to thank you both for joining us, and this has been such an illuminating talk, and hopefully in the future we can also have you guys back to talk about the next even more successful edition of Startup Bahrain Weekend. Thank you guys so much again.
Thank you so much for having us.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We have more coming up here on Bahrain Now. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at what's going on beyond the studio in the following report. The third Asian Youth Games 2025 fast approach, and the Kingdom of Bahrain is abuzz with preparations. Volunteers prepare to support the event, which features thousands of young athletes from 45 countries who will flock to Bahrain to participate in this highly anticipated event.
And I'm truly proud to be one of the volunteering team. Hosting such a great event and big event in less than a year is a really great achievement. We have been successful to do it in Bahrain under the patronage of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. We are confident that this championship will reflect the true spirit of our nation. Our volunteer has shown amazing energy and commitment, and we are fully ready and welcome to say that the teams who are coming from outside, the NOCs, the protocols, the VIPs, are so welcome. And it's a moment of pride for all of us as Bahrainis, and we are excited to make Bahrain shine in the Asian stage.
It starts from the beginning when the volunteer press the submission of registration. We directly start to share with him his journey, starting off the training, starting off the interviews, and answering his questions and his information. Then we make sure that he's ready to start his journey in this event and to make difference and enjoy his experience. That he gets the full training by attending all the workshop that we prepared for, the general workshop and the specific workshop. We welcome him and we start to answer all his questions. We arrange for him all the interviews, then he moved to the training sessions. We see the needs of all the committees, so we contact all the committees and see their needs, and we fit the skills of the volunteers to the needs of the committees and the events. We make sure all the volunteers are representing the image of Bahrain in the best way.
My responsibility focuses on classifying volunteers and assigning them to the most suitable committees based on their interests and skills. This helps ensure that every volunteer contributes in an area they are passionate about and where they can perform best.
So for the Asian Youth Games 2025, the volunteer should be assisting everybody no matter where he goes. For in my case, as a protocol volunteer, I'm in charge with dealing with the VIPs and the VVIPs. Just giving them a good experience, introducing them to Bahrain. This is probably their first time coming to the country. So this is going to be their first view of the country, and we want to give them a good view.
The Bahrain Asian Youth Games are set to take place on October 22nd to 31st and promise excitement and an atmosphere of healthy sportsmanship and international cooperation that participants and spectators won't soon forget.
As part of the 34th Bahrain International Music Festival, the Cultural Hall, in collaboration with the French Embassy in Bahrain, hosted a concert that brought together Eastern and Western musical styles and the instruments of guitar, double bass, and canon in a project titled La Luna de Seda, performed by the renowned Garcia Fons Ensemble.
We've had a wonderful start to the festival this year. It's the 34th. It kicked off with a wonderful concert celebrating Kulthum's 50th anniversary since her passing, and it was a great success, and we had a wonderful concert celebrating a Bahraini talent who has passed, Ali Bahar, and that also was a sellout show. And we focused this year on a variety of talents, from collaborating with many embassies who generously help us with our programming and enriching the cultural exchange, as well as Bahraini talent who we find to be at the core of our festival.
The Cultural Hall also celebrated authenticity and heritage by hosting Al Sawt Al Bahraini music concert, featuring renowned singers Rashid Zuwayed, Yaqub Boujafal, and Abdelrahman Awad. The singers performed a selection of pieces conducted originally by pioneers of Al Sawt Al Bahraini music and was met with great enthusiasm from the audience.
It's a concert, it's a quatuor, it's a mix of French and Turkish artists, and I believe they're gonna do a mix of music as Eastern, Western fusion, so I'm really looking forward to that. We are always at a great time to any of the previous festival, always well organized and good quality of music.
This event came as part of Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities' ongoing efforts to preserve Bahrain's musical heritage and introduce younger generations to one of the region's most significant forms of folk singing.
I'm here to watch the French performer performing their musics and immerse myself into the amazing performance.
Attendees praised the high level of performance and organization of the 34th Bahrain International Music Festival, emphasizing the importance of such initiatives and bonding different cultures together through one language, music.
The Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany in the Kingdom of Bahrain hosted a reception marking the 35th anniversary of German Unity Day. The event was attended by Ahmed bin Salman Al Msallam, Speaker of the Council of Representatives, several ministers, members of the Shura and Representatives Councils, and ambassadors accredited to Bahrain. Bahrain and Germany enjoy long-standing partnership and continuous cooperation in political, economic, and cultural domains, including trade, investment, renewable energy, and education, with a shared vision for a sustainable and prosperous future.
So today we are celebrating 35 years of German unity, and that's of course for me as the ambassador of Germany a huge honor to celebrate it here in the Kingdom of Bahrain, since there are very, very close and strategic relations between Germany and the Kingdom of Bahrain, be it on the political side, the economic side, the cultural side, and very important for me, also people-to-people contact. And this will be my 4 main priorities during my mission here to the Kingdom of Bahrain. Shukran Shasilan.
The Embassy of the Republic of Korea to the Kingdom of Bahrain held a reception on the occasion of the National Day at Radisson Blu Hotel. The event saw the attendance of high officials, members of the Shura and Representatives Councils, and heads of diplomatic missions.
Today we host the celebration to mark the 4,358th Korea National Foundation Day of Korea. And most importantly, it's a celebration of the robust relationship between Bahrain and Korea. Bahrain and Korea has a close relationship. This year we had a lot of progress in our relationship. In May, we held the 7th Bahrain-Korea Business Forum in Bahrain. We saw the largest ever participation of Korean companies. And this year, furthermore, with the entry of the first of the Korea-Bahrain Investment Protection and Promotion Agreement in late July, it laid the important foundation for greater investment and trade. And there are also many achievements in culture and education field. For example, we held several cultural events, and there are lots of students at the King Sejong Bahrain Manama. It surpassed 500 students, and this year we opened a new branch of the King Sejong Institute at Bahrain Polytechnic. Yes, and this year, at the Bahraini government's proposal, we held the first Korean language proficiency test for the first time on a trial basis.
The Korean embassy commended the distinguished ties that unite the two countries in various fields in light of the common desire to enhance and consolidate paths of cooperation in all areas and moving towards broader horizons to achieve the aspirations and goals of the two countries.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this episode. We'd like to thank you for watching. As always, be sure to reach out to us on our social media accounts shown below. We love to hear from you. This was Khalid Idris. Until next time, good night and God bless.